Good morning to all of our viewers. Tensions between India and Pakistan escalate overnight as Pakistan intensifies air operations. The Indian Army says Pakistan's blatant escalation with drone strikes and other munitions continues along India's western borders. Hostile drones have been spotted over Amritsar. They were instantly engaged and destroyed. Indian Air Defence also thwarts an attack on Delhi. Government sources say that Pakistan's Fatah-II missile likely aimed at Delhi was intercepted in Sirsa in Haryana. As India carries out retaliatory action following an escalation in border tension, sources tell CNBC TV18 that the Indian Air Force has targeted 4 air bases in Pakistan. The Ministry of External Affairs and the Ministry of Defence will brief the media on the escalation in tensions at 10:30 a.m. As many as 32 airports across the northern and western parts of India are closed for civilian flights till the 15th of May. These airports include Jammu, Sindoor, Leh, Amritsar, Chandigarh and Dharamshala, among others. The International Monetary Fund clears an immediate $1 billion disbursement for Pakistan. A resilience and sustainability facility of an additional $1.4 billion has also been cleared, amounting to $2.4 billion in all. Good morning to all of our viewers joining us on television and online. This is, of course, our special coverage on the escalating border tensions between India and Pakistan. We are awaiting the briefing by the Ministry of External Affairs and the Ministry of Defence. That is in about 20 minutes from now. 10:30 a.m. is when we will see that briefing to explain to us what has happened overnight. Now, very briefly, let's recap for our viewers what has happened. Retaliatory action from India on account of the aggressive action taken by Pakistan overnight. Now, Pakistan tried to target Indian air bases. Pakistan also used the Fatah-II missile to target India. It was intercepted by India. It was brought down in Sirsa, which is in Haryana. So that's been a big escalation there from Pakistan. On the Indian side, India has targeted 4 military bases in Pakistan, 4 air bases in Pakistan. And of course, aerial drone operation continues at this point in time as well. We are given to understand that there has been intense firing activity along the line of control and the international border. Shelling has, of course, continued. We're now have an official confirmation coming in from the BSF, and the BSF has just put out, in fact, a video as well where the BSF is stating that it has been able to destroy a terrorist launch pad at Luni in the district of Sialkot in Pakistan, opposite the Aknoor area. So the BSF now putting out an official statement as well as substantiating video along with that. The BSF saying that a terrorist launch pad at Luni in the district of Sialkot in Pakistan opposite Aknoor has been completely destroyed by the border security force. There are, of course, at this point in time, several meetings underway as well at various quarters, but our team of reporters will get you all the latest developments. Of course, the other significant overnight development has been the loan granted by IMF to Pakistan. It has cleared that $2.4 billion. And this is, again, as we point out, along expected lines. My colleagues Ritu and Archana will join us to explain why the IMF has cleared this loan. And this is not the first time that the IMF has done so. And India abstaining from the vote because there is no provision as part of the process for a no vote at the IMF. So more details on essentially why the IMF believes that it needs to give this funding to Pakistan or Pakistan will fail. So for the IMF, Pakistan too big to fail, so to speak, but we'll get more on that in just a second. We do have guests with us. Brigadier Anil Sharma, retired and defence analyst, is with us. Let me go across to him. Brigadier Sharma, appreciate you joining us here on the program. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Help our viewers understand where we find ourselves in this operation. A clear escalation by Pakistan last night, the use of the Fatah-II missile, as well as the continuous targeting of Indian military infrastructure, of Indian air bases. Of course, all of that has been thwarted. The Fateh missile was also intercepted successfully by India at Sirsa in Haryana. But what Pakistan has done overnight, a clear escalation, and what do you believe we could now or should now be prepared for?
Jahid, yes, there has been a clear escalation overnight. And it appears as if Pakistan was waiting for IMF package to have been cleared. And thereafter, they have really gone in for the escalation. As yesterday, we are wishing that they will not take this path, but they have gone in with the escalation. Now, our forces have also retaliated in equal measure. And there are news reports that their aircraft have been shot down. Maybe in the MEA briefing, we will get to know the actual fact. They would have been shot down. Now, this is really a sign of escalation to the next stage. And I'm also told in one of the channel that the Americans are trying to speak to the Pakistani Chief of Army Staff. Maybe they realize that he's the person who calls the shot and he can be asked to slow down or stop. Because there is a very disturbing signal coming. As you are aware, at 10:30, our MEA briefing is scheduled. That is the same time the Pakistanis have scheduled their meeting at National Command Authority. Now, this is a signal to us because that's where they carry out the nuclear threat assessment. So I think that's where we are at the moment. Let's see how things evolve. Thank you.
Absolutely, sir. Let me bring retired Air Vice Marshal Manmohan Bahadur into the conversation as well. AVM Bahadur, many thanks for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. I want to take our viewers back to the briefing that took place last evening at 5:30 p.m. where Wing Commander Vyomika Singh had basically said that while we managed to intercept the 300 to 400 drones that were part of the action not last night, but the previous night, the assessment was that this was more about intelligence gathering. That was the comment that had come in the briefing from Wing Commander Vyomika Singh. Air Vice Marshal Bahadur, in light of what we've seen happen last night with the alleged attempted attacks on air bases, with the Fatah-II missile being used as well, it seems like that was the first installment and last night was the real deal.
Jai Hind, everyone. Thank you for getting me in. You see, it's a war of perceptions going on right now. And what was briefed yesterday and what we saw last evening, these were all probing attacks. The previous night too, the swarm of drones that came in, and absolutely no damage on the ground. Now, it can be attributed to two things. A very good air defense system that we have got, which is true. And secondly, to think that out of 300-400 drones, not a single one managed to come down and hit on the ground, that's getting a little, to be true, So I personally feel that these were all intelligence gathering things. Then we've seen this attack today morning, where I think long-range missiles have been used. Now that ups the ante to the next level. And what is surprising is that they lobbed a few on us, we lobbed a few on them, and there has been silence for the last, maybe 4 hours? But that possibly indicates that something is happening behind our backs in the diplomatic front. Obviously, Secretary Rubio is supposed to have spoken to both sides. Now, let's see what comes out in the press conference another 15-20 minutes from now. But we need to be on our guard. The fact that our political establishment is preparing our civil administration by briefing them indicates we are in for the long run if the other side wants it. So, injuries will happen, fatalities may happen. I hope they don't. But the fact remains, as a nation, if we have taken a stand that enough is enough, we will pay the price. We are big enough, and we will do that, and do that good.
Well, unfortunately, we are seeing fatalities. We have seen civilian lives being lost as well, including, of J&K administration officer that has just been tweeted by the Chief Minister, Omar Abdullah. And that is a heavy price to pay. But unfortunately, that is the situation at this point in time. But AVM Bahadur, if I could come back to you now on the response that India had initiated after what we saw Pakistan do. And what we are given to understand is that we are likely to have targeted 3, if not 4, air bases in Pakistan. And those visuals and the locations are being shown to our viewers on the map. Now, would you expect any kind of preemptive action from here on India's part? So far, the response has been retaliatory. But given the kind of aggression and escalation that Pakistan has chosen to exercise, would you anticipate any preemptive action?
If you notice, the pressure is being ratcheted up gradually. And these are all ways of turning the screw one after the other. So we have attacked their air bases, and as per reports, they have attacked some of our military installations. Now, our attack on their air bases is indicative of that we mean business, and that's just one step up the ladder. And I can assure you the plans are there, and we'll be doing all it takes to make sure that the message gets sent across in a befitting way. Nobody wants war, but if it comes to that, it'll happen. As I said, this 10:30 briefing would give an idea of exactly where we stand. We have conveyed the message that if you lob missiles at us, we are willing to do that, and we are willing to strike your air bases. And from the videos that have come out, and I do know I've spoken to few people here and there, the damage on our bases is not there. I've spoken.
Yes. In fact, that has been confirmed to CNBC TV 18. And as we've been stressing here on the channel, we are only bringing you verified information. We are not reporting information that has not been independently verified by us. We are given to understand from highly placed sources, all Indian Air Force bases are safe. All Indian Air Force bases are secure. Do not fall for what is being circulated on WhatsApp and so on and so forth. All Indian Air Force bases at this point in time are safe and secure. We are also hearing, as I pointed out, from the BSF that they have managed to hit a target in Sialkot, a terror launch pad, according to the BSF. That has been hit as well. But AVM Bahadur, going back to the point that was being made previously about this meeting of the Pakistan military establishment as well as the Prime Minister, now suggesting that they're looking at the nuclear threshold and so on and so forth. More psyops at this point in time, or also trying to get the global community to look more squarely at this issue?
Two things. The global community is already looking at what's happening. And secondly, these are psyops. Absolutely. I mean, you don't get into nuclear threshold and things like that. They're just trying to message us, message the world that, listen, we are a character that you cannot depend on. We are, what's that word? Irrational. So this is a very rational way of conveying irrationality so as to get foreign mediation in. They are rational people. Let's face facts. But they convey irrationality in a very, very professional manner to say, oh, it's going to blow up. No, sorry, it will not. We know that. We have done enough exercises, enough war games. All the Army, Navy, Air Force people, the senior lot, have gone through such scenarios that are built up. But we know where they stand. Meeting or no meeting of their National Command Authority, it doesn't make a difference.
Absolutely. And a lot of this is also posturing at this point in time. So we want to make it absolutely clear. Speaking of global pressure from the global community, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, on the 8th had spoken with the Pakistan Prime Minister and, of course, asked for immediate de-escalation and also said that Pakistan must not support terror or terror groups. In fact, he's had a conversation with Pakistan's Army Chief as well, Asif Munir. And, of course, let me bring back Mr. Sharma into the conversation as well. On that point, about what the Pakistan military establishment seems to want to do versus what the Pakistan government seems to want to do. There has been clear escalatory comments, Brigadier Sharma, that have come in from the Pakistan military establishment, from the army chief. And it's not just over the last 48 hours, it's been before that as well. Do you believe that there could be a dissonance that while the government may be wanting to talk de-escalation, the army chief has a different plan altogether?
Yes, that is very likely. I think that would be happening. Now, point is that that's linked with this is, see, this they have started playing a game of brinkmanship. Now, whatever signals and what Air Vice Marshal has brought out, now a reason could be that they actually want to stop the conflict now. For that, and they want a respectable way out. So respectable way out is that they show that brinkmanship they start playing so that the mediation occurs and the things a pause can come in the hostilities. But this is only a guess. Probably when we see the MEA briefing, we will get to know. There is certainly going to be a difference of opinion in their political and military establishment, because political establishment certainly would not have bargained for this level of hostilities and the damages which are occurring on their side, because that's what matters to them. And of course, it is the army chief who is calling the shots and whose views prevail. So as the situation progresses, I think that will become clearer. Thank you.
Absolutely. Things will become clearer. We are still waiting for the MOD and the MEA briefing. That's about 15 minutes from now. But AVM Bahadur, so much of misinformation and disinformation circulating online. And, we've been trying to put together all of this for our viewers. There were reports suggesting that an Indian Air Force female pilot has been captured. That is false information. We have now verified that it is false. It is fake news that is being circulated. There were also reports, specifically in the Chinese media, that Pakistan had managed to attack an S-400 defense system, air defense system in Adampur. That has also been called fake. We have verified that with the government. That is fake news. That is not clear. That is not accurate at this point in time. What we are still waiting confirmation for, and it is likely that this may have happened, but we don't have verification on that yet, which is why we haven't put it out on whether there has been any loss of fighter aircraft on the Pakistan side on account of India's operations overnight. We are still waiting for verification and clarification on that. AVM Bahadur, I just want to understand again, for you to bring perspective for our viewers, this has been contact-less warfare. This has been drone warfare, as we've gotten accustomed to seeing through the course of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The manner in which India has exercised and showcased its air dominance over the last few days. Help piece this together for our viewers.
Okay, I'll do that. Just one step back on the fake news that is moving around. I urge your viewers, please do not believe what is moving on social media unless it is given out officially. There are a whole lot of videos, AI generated, which is going on from the other side. Beware, beware. Okay, now to your point of the way the air defense system has worked. The Indian Air Force has got an integrated air command and control system, IACCS, in which inputs from all the radars, Army, Navy, Air Force, Civil, are coming in. There's a big picture that is available to the fighter controllers. To that is also attached, or they are linked, the weapon systems. So the fighter controllers see on their scope where is the threat developing and direct a weapon system of any service, Army, Navy, Air Force, to that target, the ideal system position to take on that target. So this is the broad picture that is there. There are two things that happen when missiles start approaching you. or enemy assets start coming your way, the ground-based systems are held, they're called guns tight, in case any of our assets are in the vicinity. So that's a state called guns tight. And once we don't have any assets, then anything coming to you is enemy. The guns are made free. It's called guns free. So possibly what we saw last night over Jammu down to Firozpur, as also the previous night, when the first night when the whole lot of drones were thrown at us, was a guns-free state, because we saw the complete ground air defense system take on the incoming assets. They included just not the S-400. S-400 won't take on a small 2 meter by 2 meter target. It's not for that. But it is the smaller things, the Army AAA's anti-aircraft weapons, the Air Force summon, which has come, which is reconditioned air-to-air missiles, mounted now on vehicles to take on these things. The non-kinetic means of jamming the instrument, the assets coming in, and of course the Akash air defense system, the Spider, the Israeli anti. So all these things are together on a big picture available to the fighter controllers, and they act accordingly to the orders they get.
Absolutely. And again, for our benefit of our viewers, a lot of air bases around India, around the border areas, in cities and border areas, stand closed for civilian purposes. They are, of course, open for military purposes. You know, the Sindoor airport, for instance, that's a military base. So many of those airports are closed for civilian purposes, but open for military operations at this point in time. The Pakistan airspace, by the way, finally shut down for civilian purposes. So we were seeing even yesterday, foreign civil aircraft were using Pakistan airspace, but as of this morning, Pakistan airspace stands closed. We are, as AVM Bahadur was pointing out, in a very sensitive situation, and hence it is imperative and of utmost importance that we bring you only verifies news. AVM Bahadur, coming back to you, we're just waiting for the press conference of the MOD and the MEA, which should be underway shortly. Visuals on our screens, waiting for the Foreign Secretary, Mr. Mistry, as well as Wing Commander Vyomika Singh and Colonel Sophia Qureshi to join us. Let me, and our colleague Parikshit Luthra is there as well, so we will keep you updated on the latest. Brigadier Sharma, you know, a final comment from you before I let you go on you know, how you see things moving from here. We will, of course, get more details from the briefing, but, you know, where you find things at this point in time and what you anticipate as being the next steps.
Yes. Firstly, I think today and tomorrow we are going to see a further escalation, and the exchanges probably could be at a higher intensity. Another quick point I would like to make a flag for your viewers: the challenge that air defense warriors face. The air defense guns, they get hardly 2 to 3 seconds to fire at an aircraft or a drone. And if they get that much of time, it is considered an effective engagement. So is the case of a short-range missile. If it gets anything 30 to 35 seconds when the target is delegated to it, as Air Vice Marshal had brought out, and that's enough. That's considered good enough for an engagement. And even medium-range missiles have got a very short reaction time for them to engage. So an air defense warriors, whatever they are doing, is a tremendous job they are doing, because at that high speed they have to take decisions, decide whether target is in range, and then open fire. So this is what I think all your viewers should know, is a great job being done by the air defense warrior, whether they are of Air Force or of Army. Thank you.
Absolutely, Brigadier Sharma. And, you know, as a daughter of Indian Air Force, former Indian Air Force pilot, commendable what our air warriors are doing at this point in time, because it's not easy, as we heard there from Brigadier Sharma, of being in air, of dealing with the kind of G-force that you have to deal with, and yet ensure that you act with precision, you act with efficiency, and you act with a calm head. I think that is critical, but that is what the Indian Air Force pilots are trained for. I've had first-hand view of that, having grown up on Air Force bases across the country. You know, our thoughts, prayers for all of our armed forces, because they are really battling at the front line at this point in time. It's easy for us to sit here in our rooms and comment on what is happening, but they are the ones who are bearing the brunt of the Pakistan action, and they are the ones who are out there keeping India safe and keeping Indian citizens from harm's way. Standing by for the MOD press conference, we will wait to see the many aspects that are shared. Just yesterday, for instance, the Foreign Secretary was talking about the fact that India will continue in its non-escalatory response, but will retaliate appropriately. What we've seen with the way that Pakistan has acted overnight, is there likely to be any change in India's position and India's strategy? Also, diplomatic conversations underway. As we pointed out, Marco Rubio has been in touch with both sides. In fact, he's also spoken with the army chief in Pakistan. And as we've been reporting here, and as you just heard Brigadier Sharma say, it really is the army in Pakistan that controls things, that controls decision-making. And the army chief has been escalatory, not just over the last 48 hours, but well before that. And it's important to highlight that there is that meeting that's being held in Pakistan where the government is now talking about nuclear threshold. But, you know, that, as we've been pointing out, could also be part of the psychological warfare that is currently underway. Saudi Arabia has also been in dialogue and contact with both sides, and the Saudis are likely to play a role behind the scenes. There has been a statement that's coming from the G7 as well on asking both sides to de-escalate and asking both sides to exercise restraint. But the air bases that India has targeted overnight, those air bases are critical. And of course, we are waiting for an official confirmation on whether there has been any targeting of Pakistan's fighter aircraft, because there are some reports suggesting that that may have been likely. Again, on your map, you're seeing the areas where India mounted its offensive and India mounted its operations. We will, of course, keep getting you updates here on CNBC TV 18. We also want to point out that there have been civilian casualties. In fact, yesterday, the Foreign Secretary did mention that 2 students lost their lives on account of firing that took place. And today, we have heard from the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir saying that the administration, the Jammu and Kashmir administration, has lost an officer on account of firing that has been underway. Jammu, of course, has been a point of significant focus, and that's where we've seen in the Rajouri-Poonch area there has been significant firing, and that continues to be the case even today. There are, of course, disruptions as far as air operations are concerned, because many airports across the country are standing down for civilian operations. So there have been flight cancellations to many parts of the country, and our colleague Madiha can join us to give us a rundown, or perhaps even Archana can join us to give us a rundown of what is happening as far as airport closure is concerned, because that has impacted operations for many airlines, Air India, Indigo, SpiceJet and others. And a lot of those airports will continue to remain shut over the next few days. Archana, you want to run our viewers through the airport closures at this point in time?
Yes, that's right, Shireen. So the latest update is that 32 airports in the country will remain shut till the 15th of May. So the government has extended airspace restrictions to more airports. So 8 more additions have been made. So the new additions are Adampur in Punjab, Ambala, Avantipur, Bhuj, Hindon Air Base, Jodhpur, Kandla and Thois. Thois is in Ladakh. So these 8 additions are... the new airports, the restrictions have been imposed on these. So in all, 32 airports are there. Let me also get you a comprehensive list of what other major airports have been the restrictions have been imposed on them. So Adampur, Ambala, Amritsar, Avantipur, Bhatinda, Bhuj, Bikaner, Chandigarh, Halwara, Hindon, Jaisalmer, Jammu, Jamnagar, Jodhpur, Kandla, Kangra, Keshod, Kishangarh, Kullu Manali, Leh, Ludhiana, Mundra, Nalia, Pathankot, Patiala, Porbandar, Rajkot, Sarsava, Shimla, Srinagar, Thwarts and Uttarlai. So these are the airports where restrictions are in place, and they will remain shut till the 15th of May.
Well, as I'm looking at that map and those airports coming up on the screens, it takes me back to my childhood days, because I've spent a fair amount of time in places like Halwara, in places like Srinagar, in places like Ambala as well. And of course, as we were just discussing, India's air warriors, the Indian Air Force, the Indian Armed Forces, including the Indian Army and the Indian Navy, have of course all been coordinated in their response, in their action. They are the ones who are on the front line at this point in time and responding to the attacks and responding to what Pakistan is perpetrating on India at this point. So that's the airport closure till the 15th of May. Those are the airports that find themselves in sensitive areas, but also the airports that actually share infrastructure with the defense forces. So at this point in time, the defense forces get priority, and so civilian operations stand to be called off and suspended till the time that situation improves. AVM Bahadur, I was just reminiscing as that graphic plate went up on our screens of the time that I've spent in some of those air bases, Jamnagar, Ambala, Halwara. I don't know if you have.
I'll add to that list Jammu, Srinagar, and Leh. I mean, who's not spent time in all those places? And to see all those airfields back in action for us, stop for the civilian traffic, one well understands. And Shireen, I heard your comments about your childhood, etc. Well, I've served with your father, a great professional. So we'll talk offline on that. But yes, those airfields now are exclusively for the military use. The fact that Pakistan has stopped has closed its airspace indicates that it expects something from us, so that anything coming from its east, that is from us to them, is hostile as far as they are concerned. So that's an indicator that we may be in business.
Yes, that is a clear indication. And finally, Pakistan closing its airspace. And this is, in fact, something that was highlighted by the Foreign Secretary, Vikram Misri, in the press briefing yesterday as well, that, by not closing its airspace, Pakistan had, in fact, ended up endangering civilians who were on board foreign airlines who were using that airspace as well. So at this point in time, Pakistan airspace closed. And as AVM Bahadur was pointing out, it could perhaps be in the preparedness of any action, any response, and we will have to monitor that very, very closely. We're still waiting for that press briefing, which was expected to happen at 10:30, but these are moving situations, these are moving targets, and so we will have to wait to see what time that press briefing finally takes off. But AVM Bahadur, I want to go back to the Fateh missile use of Pakistan and, explain to our viewers, while we've been talking about the fact that this takes us up several notches on the escalation ladder, but for Pakistan to have even attempted to do that, because this is serious business, the use of that particular missile.
That's correct. We've got to be sure of the source of this particular information, whether they've actually used that, because
that has been verified. That's been verified, sir. That's been verified by sources in the Defense Ministry that they did in fact use the Fateh missile, and it was intercepted above Sirsa.
Okay, so now that's an Iranian origin missile, and it's supposed to be hypersonic. Now I'm not too clear or not too sure, let's put it this way, about it's the speed part of it, whether it is actually hypersonic. But if we have intercepted it, then I think we've got very good capability to intercept that. And it's good that it's been intercepted, because depending on the speed of the missile, the efficiency of the intercepting armament comes down. So if it is too fast, like a hypersonic missile, then the time for it to be acquired, tracked, and engaged, that reduces drastically. So that's the importance of the speed at which you are engaged. So higher the speed of a missile, difficult it is to engage. If it's been engaged, it's very nice.
Yes, that is what we are given to understand, that it was engaged. It was intercepted by India over Sirsa, which is in Haryana. There are also reports at this point in time which we are trying to confirm, because as we pointed out to our viewers, that we had confirmed that India managed to hit 3 air bases in Pakistan, but there could perhaps be a 4th as well. We are waiting for a confirmation on that. Our colleague Parikshit Luthra is working the phones to be able to get a confirmation on that at this point in time. That is the latest that we are tracking on the India-Pakistan conflict that is escalating. There is a clear escalation at this point in time. The overnight developments have been swift and fast, and we are waiting to hear from the Indian government on how they assess the situation. We're also given to understand that the Prime Minister has met with the NSA, Ajit Doval, this morning. And just yesterday, in fact, the Prime Minister also had a meeting with the veterans of the Defence Forces. That meeting took place in the evening. So there was a meeting that took place of the veterans of the armed forces. There's also a Gazette notification that was issued by the government saying that the army chief does have the powers to call in members of the territorial army, but I would imagine that that is an empowering and enabling provision as in when that need arises, and we do hope that that need will not arise. But that Gazette notification was also issued. Visuals on your screens of the meeting of the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, the Air Chief, the Army Chief, and the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh there. Of course, all this is not, and we want to again make sure that people don't believe that this is actually visuals from this morning. This was the meeting that took place previously. But there was a meeting that the Defence Minister had yesterday, and there was also a meeting that the Prime Minister had with the veterans of the armed forces. Well, we'll take a quick break and return with the latest developments, and we would request our guests to hold on. We're just trying to get an update on whether that special briefing on Operation Sindoor is about to start or not. Perhaps we could connect with our colleague Parikshit Luthra, who's on location. Okay, we'll get to Parikshit in just a second. But Archana, any further updates on any of the late-night developments on the global front, etc.?
Shireen, yes, a lot of international the leaders of the international community have urged restraint. But the big update that we are getting right now is that the Ministry of Defence has issued a statement saying that Pakistan continued its hostilities on 10th of May by targeting places of worship like the famous Shambhu temple and residential areas in Jammu. Multiple armed drones have been sent through the night, endangering civilians and religious sites. The Indian Armed Forces remain vigilant and are committed to defending the sovereignty of the nation. So the big development that we are getting right now is that Pakistan made an attempt and targeted places of worship like the famous Shambhu temple. Remember yesterday in the briefing, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri has said that Pakistan is deliberately trying to target places like churches, gurdwaras and temples to inflame communal passions in India, which is low even by Pakistan standards. So this is the latest. This is an official statement by the Ministry of Defence, Government of India. It is verified. And coming to the international community and what others are saying, as you mentioned, that Saudi Arabia is trying to broker peace. The foreign minister was in India and in Pakistan, urging both parties to come to the negotiating table and have a dialogue. Likewise, G7 nations, the powerful lot, has also urged both sides to talk and ensure that there are no civilian casualties. On the other hand, China has also issued a statement saying that both parties should arrive at a political settlement, urging restraint. So at this moment, the global community is also keeping a close watch on the developments that are unfolding between India and Pakistan. But the big update that we are sharing with our viewers is that Pakistan tried to target the famous Shambhu temple and the residential areas in Jammu. Back to you.
Absolutely. And as Archana was pointing out yesterday in that press briefing, Vikram Misri, the Foreign Secretary, did say that Pakistan was trying to give a communal color, a communal tone to this conflict by targeting Gurdwara, by targeting a church as well, and now a temple. That is what we're given to understand. That's the latest that's come in from the Ministry of Defence. Brigadier Sharma, would you like to comment on the MOD statement that's just come in?
Yes, look, what Pakistan is trying to do that by targeting the places of religion, it's thinking that it will be able to divide our society. And probably it was banking on that as you presumed, that our political system is quite fractious and they will not come together. And I think that's what would be surprising them, that our political system has come together and everyone is standing by the government. And that's why these attempts are not going to succeed, as also Indian public is now very well aware. And the reach of our media and social media, it also has a positive point. The immediate communication of the right information is also a strength. We are only talking about the negative information, but the positive information reaching everyone, people can draw their own conclusions as to what our adversary is trying to do. So I think that's also paying off. Thank you.
Yes. Also, sources suggesting that we will, of course, we're still trying to get a confirmation on whether the air base in Pakistan, the Sargodha air base in Pakistan, has been targeted. We will try and get a confirmation independently of that. This is the news that is circulating at this point in time, so we will try and get that confirmation for our viewers as well. But no sign of the briefing, which was expected to start by about 10:30. So we are waiting by for that, and we will get our viewers the latest information. But at this point in time, there are many reports suggesting that that India has hit the Sargodha air base in Pakistan, but we are waiting for an official confirmation. We will take a break and return to the MOD and MEA briefing that's coming up for you shortly.